We're off. Woo! Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag live if you're watching live. Hashtag replay if you're on replay. So I have a great client interview today with Miss Amanchee. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Pretty
Okay,
good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well. So, give you a little context. Amanchee's gone through our program and our coaching program, and we're going to be talking to her not only about the physical aspects, but also just the overall things that she has learned during this program and the things that she's been able to implement into her life to create that beautiful smile that she has on her face here today. And yeah, so what I want to start with first, Amanchee, is I'm going to ask you this question: is before you and I started working together, can you give some context to everyone listening about where you were mentally, emotionally, and physically?
Well, um, starting off, I before the program, I was not uh physically where I should be. I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm making progress, and I like that. And food, I was just eating whatever sounded good to me. I was just eating to be eating. I wasn't really thinking about what I was putting into my body. And to me, that's now looking back, I know that's not okay. Uh, and mentally, I thought I was actually, you know, in a good place, but I really wasn't. And when I started the program, I thought that I was prepared. I'm not gonna lie. And then while during the beginning of my journey, everything was going good, and then I started to learn more about myself, and learned really quickly about how mentally I wasn't uh, well. You know, there was a lot going on in my mind and my personal life that it got to a point where it controlled me versus me controlling it. And throughout the program, I learned how to reverse that effect, how to gain control of my life during eating and with physical weight loss and exercises and even my mental health. And I feel a lot happier and like I'm in a better place. I'm less distracted. I know that me and you talked a lot about me suffering from depression, and I feel like I don't suffer from it as much now. I still do have episodes, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. And I just feel like I make better decisions concerning my happiness overall. So.
Okay. Um, I have a follow up question, and this relates to something that you and I have been sharing with each other, and it comes from being able to tell people no. So can you
Yeah.
can you give some context as it relates to your experiences with putting yourself first and telling people no?
Well, as you know, I was struggling with always wanting to be a people pleaser and just wanting to be like, okay, yes, I'll do this, I'll do that. Yes, yes, yes. I was the stereotypical yes woman. So uh, I had to change that, and with your help, I actually did because before, if I said no, I always felt guilty about it. But then you get to a point where you feel like everything is just so overwhelming to a point where you can't even think straight and you don't have time to do anything, and you can't really function the way that you need to. And so I know me and you talked about how to go about it, but eventually I did get to the point where I am saying no. There are certain times where now that I do have to remind myself hey, really think this through before you speak, because, you know, old habits die hard. So there are a few times still where I'll hesitate before I answer. So I'll really think about, is this something I really, really want to do versus automatically answering yes. But I rather do that versus go ahead and say yes and then be so committed to everything else that I'm just struggling to juggle my time between everything that I need to do. So,
Mhm. And how much more uh I don't want to use the word control because we talk about things that we just cannot control, but like
yeah.
how much better do you feel about yourself when you're able to then prioritize yourself versus everyone else being a priority and you kind of taking a back seat?
It's a lot more freeing, I will say that. Uh, like I feel like I have so much more freedom just to even be myself, you know. Um, it like I don't know any other way to explain it. I mean, there's a certain amount of happiness that comes with being able to put yourself, first. And something I heard the other day was this person, I don't know if it was off your V Live or somewhere else, but someone has said, how can you take care of other people if you never take care of yourself first? And that really hit home, because I was sitting here thinking, man, all those times I was putting other people first, here I am sitting here suffering, and I'm not in a good place. But after we had talked and I got on this whole no kick, now suddenly I am able to take care of myself. And then things that absolutely need my attention with other people, then yes, I will take care of it. But if it's not something important, if it's something that could be pushed off to another date or whatever, where I need to prioritize myself first, I go ahead and do that, because that's a lot more important. And I can't be half of me trying to take care of someone else whole, trying to wholly take care of someone else, if that makes sense.
It does. It really does. Particularly for, folks out there that may be listening to this that define themselves as, givers, right? You know,
Yeah.
when you have that personality type that you want to give, it's like you give so much, it's like you never give back to yourself. And
Hmm.
at the end of the day, everyone else has what they need, and you're kind of like, well, I got nothing left because I've given everything to everybody else. So when you're finally able to realize that the best decision for me is really the best decision for we, because when I'm in a good spot, the people that are around me are obviously going to be in a good spot as well.
Yeah, and also it's a something I the way I really try to think about it after me and you talked was, who do I go home to at the end of the day? Which, for everyone out there, I am single. So even if you're not single, this can apply to you too. But who do you go home to at the end of the day? At the end of the day, who are you looking in the mirror at? Yourself. You fight with yourself, you come home to yourself, you do everything with yourself. So, how are you supposed to be able to help other people if you don't help that person you're looking at in the mirror, you know?
That's right. And you brought this up. It's like regardless if you're single or not, we all are responsible for ourself. We may have partners, we may have children, but at the end of the day, we are only accountable truly to ourselves. And we got to go through life with this meat suit that we've been given. And if you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? And if
Yep.
you can't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? So, okay. And you've touched on this already, but I'm going to ask this question directly to you. Like what do you feel like has helped you during this process?
Um, well, besides the other stuff we just got done talking about, Me and you had talked about how I should journal the things I do, journal what I eat, all that, just journal it all. And that has really helped me out a lot, because when you can actually put, like you said, in when we talk, when you see everything out visually in front of you, your thoughts, what you've done for the day, just what you've ate, even if it's comes down to finances, when it is visually in front of you, you can be like, man, this is wow, and it also goes back to something else I was going to talk about later. Uh, me and you had also had a conversation about overthinking, and
Mhm.
that when I overthink, that I just need to look at myself from like a bird's eye view. And I feel like when you have laid everything out in front of you visually, actually physically and visually, then you're getting a bird's eye view of your actual life, and you can implement changes into all of that. So,
Absolutely. You can observe those thoughts. So being
yep.
able to kind of isolate yourself out of your thoughts. That's great. That's great advice. Um, and again, these questions kind of bleed into each other, Manchi, but when you touch on things, it's great. And like this is like it's really cool. And I think people get a lot out of this. But what actionable steps have you taken to start taking better care of yourself, telling people no, and making yourself a priority? So you can kind of touch on that because you've kind of already answered that question.
um, I've been eating better. I've been exercising. Time management was a big thing for me, and it still is. I still struggle with it, but I do think I'm a lot better at it now than I was in the very beginning. In the very beginning, I was just not good at it at all. But then you told me write everything down, get myself on a schedule, and after I get on that schedule, then just go from there. And I think uh, that has really helped out a lot. And going back to the whole no thing, if you don't ever tell anyone no, you're never going to be able to time management. Like you will never you do time management successfully, because you will always delete something and replace it with whatever you just had obligated yourself to. So that those two really go hand in hand. So,
Yeah,
and I learned that real quick too. So,
absolutely. Let's touch on this. Let's touch on the nutritional standpoint because I know that we kind of as we do in this program is we want to take a micro commitment, micro goals, micro habits, as we call them, to
mhm.
start improving everything, but in particular your nutrition. So how do you feel like that has progressed over the last, you know, 4 months of you working with us as it relates to your nutrition?
I feel like I'm very observant of what I eat now. I'm not all over the place like, oh, I'm eating just to be eating. I'm not doing that. I'm actually like, okay, this is good for me. This is what I can have. And another thing is like, which me and you found this out, I can't have peanut butter. And that's because I had gotten, and I feel like this is kind of a thing where you can, like we had talked about, you can have so much of a good thing that your body no longer allows you to have it. And I think I had made that a big part of my nutrition, and my body had just got to the point where it's like, we can't do peanut butter no more. And so now I can't have peanut butter. But you have to take everything into consideration when you're doing your nutrition, because if you don't, you can seriously mess up. And like with me and peanut butter, you hurt yourself really badly. So I
Right.
really,
Just things that we find out about ourselves, right?
oh yeah.
Okay. And this is a good question for you, okay? Because this kind of ties into your saying no. How important is it for you, you personally, to surround yourself with a great support system?
It is very important. I think I realized it more so in this month alone than I have any other month, even being in the program, because we had touched on this where I had to grow up a lot this month alone versus, period. I had to end a toxic friendship where I was not benefiting from it at all. Like, not, they were supposed to be supportive. And I thought about this today. There was instances where they weren't supportive. Like if I said, "Hey, I want to do this with my life," they would just laugh about it and say, "Oh, well, you're not going anywhere." And you can't have negative people in your support system. Like you have to eventually look at those people. It doesn't matter how long they've been in your life. They can be in your life 1 year, 5 seconds, your whole life. It doesn't matter how long they've been in there. You have to evaluate each person accordingly and what they actually mean in your life. And this person had been in my life a really long time. And at first, I was very upset to let him go. But I realized after a week, it took me a week. After that week, I realized a huge significant difference. Like my attitude improved, my emotions improved, just everything improved after I sat that person down and was like, I can't do this no more, you know. But and I told them, I was like, I have no ill feelings towards you. I still care about you, but I feel like we're growing in different directions. And they were very upset, and that's understandable. But I did what I had to do for me. And I'll still cheer them on from a distance. But at some point you gotta say, hey, this is what's best for me, and I have to put me before us. So
There you go. Like I'm super proud of you for that. I mean, how liberating was that experience? I know, as a lot of people is like, I don't want that conflict. It's like, but you took that upon yourself to have that situation that wasn't serving you to get out of it. So
yeah.
like, I know the feeling had to be awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, I've smiled a whole lot more. I've been a lot more happier. I felt more independent. My whole thought process even has changed because like we have talked about in the past, you know, who you're around and what's in your environment, it really affects you and your decision making. And I realized how much my thought process changed after I got away from this person. Like I went from focused on things that I shouldn't have been focused on to things I should be focused on. And
Yeah.
I focused more on myself and, you know, not just this month alone, focusing on my health. I've been focused on my health, but I felt like after this person was out of my life, I focused better on everything that I needed to focus on. So,
There we go. Proud of you for that. Um, okay. What have you gotten out of this coaching program that you can take with you for the rest of your life?
uh, I've gotten skills that's helping me make better choices on my mental and physical health. Uh, I learned to not be so hard on myself because that won't fix the issue. And having a support system, a wonderful, strong support system, will even tell you, hey, if you made a mistake, because I know me personally, I'm hard on myself, but if you make a mistake and you have a good support system, that support system will say, hey, yeah, you made a mistake. We're not going to sit here and sulk about it. Let's get up. Let's recognize we make this mistake, learn from the mistake, move on, and try and figure out what to do. That way we don't make the same mistake again. So that has been very helpful. And I learned that in this group. I learned it's okay to love people from a distance because when you come down to it, sometimes that's the best, honestly. That is growth and self respect. I learned the word no can be your best friend, and you can't successfully manage your time without it. I learned what you give you said this, I don't know how many times. What you give your time and energy to, you take away time and energy from something else. That is ingrained in my brain. You said it so many times. Um, also to pay attention to the environment and who I'm around, because it affects your decision making daily. And that can affect both you going to the gym, that can affect your food choices. It can affect everything. I learned portion control and exercises to help me be a healthier person. So I learned so much.
It's awesome. Um, Last question, and this is for the world that's watching right now. What are the things that you would like the audience to know about you and overcoming what you are overcoming in your life right now? So you've touched
uh,
on all of this. You've said all of this, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to take it and say, okay, because let me give some context to this question. When you and I had our first conversation, okay, we talked about the individual that you just talked about and the negativity that they brought to the table.
yeah.
We've also talked about family members who have taken from your time because of their expectation that you show up for them for everything, birthdays, all kind of things, right?
Hmm.
So, and you work 65, 70 hours a week because you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and sometimes you don't go to bed till 10 o'clock at night because you're working. So I just gave everything that you're overcoming, but I want you to put it in your own words of like the things that you're overcoming that you feel like this audience could relate to.
uh, I'm overcoming toxic relationships. And that's not just saying dating relationships, that's friends, coworkers, people in your life, those kind of relationships. Um, I am overcoming depression. Like I said earlier, I'm still having a few bad days, but they're so much more far and few in between that I barely even recognize them, showing up anymore. I'm less timid and less confident in myself and my decisions. And I couldn't do that before this program. And I don't know if you noticed the difference, but I feel different.
Do you
Uh,
the person that I talked to the first time and this person that I'm talking to right now are night and day.
and
Like when I popped on here, I had a little technical difficulties of getting on here today because of my internet. But when I popped on here, it's like she's like got this glow to her, like she didn't have that before. I mean,
yeah, I was a very timid person, and I'd barely talk, barely ask questions, and then over time I was always asking questions, and then it's just, I feel like at some point it was just a complete and total turnaround. And it's like I told you at the beginning of the program. I said this is going to be life changing for me. It's not just I'm going to eat right, I'm going to physically get better. This is my life, and I want better for my life. I've always wanted better for my life. And so this, I feel like, was the push I needed to continue and also get the skills that I needed to continue to make my life better versus, feeling stuck. I felt like I was in a rut and I was just stuck and I wasn't going nowhere. And then I didn't know how to make the moves I needed to move. And I in the beginning of the program, I just thought it was going to be, do the exercise, follow the meal plan, and boom, I'll be the version of me that I wanted so desperately to be. I didn't expect for my mental health to like play a big role into it, though. That I think that's what a lot of people don't expect is for your mental health to be, for lack of a better metaphor, put on trial. as something that needs to be changed in order for your physical and nutritional health to change. You have to have all three for you to be better and successful in what you do. It's not just going to be, you can't have one without the other is what I'm trying to say.
No, I mean,
It has to be all of them.
I think you put it best. Like, you don't, people don't expect when they go into something like this that, it's like nutrition, fitness. But in order for those things to be firing on all cylinders, we also have to show up as our true self. And sometimes that requires us saying no to people. Sometimes that requires us to find our purpose, our passion. Sometimes that requires us to fight our demons or depression, to authentically find who we are. So therefore we can fire on all cylinders when it comes to our nutrition and the way we look, because the way we look is 5% of it. The rest of it is all right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all been here for X amount of years, and we have all these different experiences, and they come with us. And sometimes they dictate the experiences that we're trying to have as it relates to getting in shape and eating better, but they impact. So, like, I think you've put it beautifully here today, is that you're a product of becoming that better version of yourself. And I know sometimes that sounds kind of like cheesy and trite, but it's true. Like,
Yeah.
if you could see her 4 months ago versus seeing her now, it's like it isn't the physical that's the changing. I mean, she's seen changes there, but like it's like just a different person. And
Yeah.
now this attack of fitness as a lifestyle for the rest of her life is not a challenge. The challenge is constantly just showing up as herself, who she is in every situation, and being the best version of herself. And you've
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, you definitely, for everyone out there, you have to be ready to face the good, the bad, and the extremely, extremely ugly. Like, you're going to have days where you don't want to do it and you don't feel motivated. Well, come to your support group, come to your friends, and, whoever is in your corner, come to Josh, and say, hey, how do I get past this? Or, hey, help me with this. I can't tell you how many times I've done that myself. I've said, there have been times where I've been on here crying because there were some things I just felt like I needed to get off my chest or get through, but I felt like I wasn't getting through it on my own. And that's not to say that, you're a therapist, but that's to say that, hey, this does affect all the other things that like. It's going to affect your physical health. It's going to affect, your nutritional health, because a lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot of people, but I know for me personally, I was an emotional eater. I was an emotional eater, stress eater. I'm under a lot of stress. I'm just whatever sweet I could get my hands on, and then after us discussing how to fix that, I fixed that, I feel wonderful about it. So it's definitely a mental process that you have to go through. You can't just say, oh, well, it's this or it's that, it's everything. So,
It's a total package.
yep.
Total package.
And you can't run from yourself either. So,
Mm-mm. No, you can run. You can run from everybody else, but you cannot run from yourself. It's like you
yep.
can't run. You can't run from your shadow.
Yep.
That's a great way to put it. All right, Amanchee, you got any final words for these great people?
Um, I hope they join your program because I think they will be making a wonderful decision, and that you are a really good trainer. And I really appreciate you very, very, very much. I feel like I've made a great change going through your program. So
Well,
that's all I
you
really
you
have.
you have you have. And if Austin were on here too, he'd say the same, because he
Yeah,
he struck up the conversation with you in the beginning. So
Yeah. Tell him I said hi.
I will. He'll be seeing this. So, hey, Austin. Um, well, I want to tell you that I'm very proud of you because you've made some changes that a lot of people wouldn't make. And particularly at your young age that you are, um, you have your whole life ahead of you and you've learned some very valuable lessons and you're on your way to being you, who you are. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. I mean, at its core, I don't think anyone could argue when a person is who they are authentically, there's nothing more beautiful than that. So I'm very proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you got on here and you did this. This was a goal. Like
Yeah.
this was one of our goals in the beginning was to be able to do this. And here she is with no
Yep.
problem.
Yep. Um, that is a good thing. I'm glad you brought that up because I will tell everybody this. One thing that me and you had talked about, because I was so timid and confidence was a huge thing, was we had made a goal each week that I had to do something I was scared of doing. And I think I did a pretty good job doing that because not just this, but with other things too. I always was like, okay, what's one thing? I got to make a goal. I got to make a goal. And so, like, I know my first week, and I told you this, my first week, I had a anxiety issue when I went to the gym. And
Mhm.
so I started going to the gym slowly and then I was like in the gym all the time and it was just I was comfortable with it. I wasn't concerned about what other people thought or anything like that. I was able to just be myself at the gym and that which I mean, I would have had to go to the gym for the program anyways, but I'm glad that was one thing I was definitely able to overcome was, being scared of going to the gym. So, because, being overweight, that can be a big problem for people, like being scared that they'll be judged for exercising and working out. And I kind of got the mentality that everyone in the gym does not get the way they look by sitting at home and not doing anything. They had to one day get up and think, hey, I want to go to the gym. And then it just went from there. So, that actually put it into perspective of me not being so scared of going to the gym after that. And so,
You know, I think you bring up a great point. I've been doing this 18 years and I can't tell you how many people say I am scared to go to the gym.
yeah,
Like there's more people out there that's scared to go to the gym than there are those that aren't. Okay. So the fact you overcame that fear in and of itself is a huge accomplishment. I mean, we kind of look at things sometimes like in a vacuum. It's like, well, is that really that big? Yeah, that's big. I mean, you're going into a male dominated arena, as a female to go to the gym by yourself. I mean, that's
mhm.
fantastic.
Over in the weight section, especially.
Yeah, go where the men are. You know what? They're looking at themselves. They're not even looking or judging anyone else.
Yeah,
Trust me, I know. I've been there. So,
yeah.
all right, lady. I really appreciate you doing this. I really appreciate your efforts in this program. You've made a lot of strides. This right here is just a perfect example of what you've accomplished in the last 4 months. So, I want to tell you, I'm proud of you again. Thank you. And those who have watched this all the way to the end, hashtag value if you found value in this video, and drop comments in the comment section, cheering her on, asking any questions. We'll tag her in the video. And other than that, we will see you guys later. Can I get you to do the woo?
Woo!
Woo! There you go. Everybody have a great